Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about productivity and we're going to be talking about the lie that's been painted in our culture about what productivity is and how it actually looks like realistically. So firstly, yes, that is math up on the screen. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. So firstly, a little bit of an update. I know I haven't made a video in a while. That is because I have been studying because I am back at school studying and doing university. I'm studying computer science, and so that's what's been occupying my time. And so I will try my best to put out videos as often as I can, but I can promise that will be every week or very consistently, but I hope to build back up the consistency. So then the thing that you realize as a university student in computer science specifically, or just as a university student, is that yeah, everyone around you, they were good. They got good grades in school. They were the top of their class. They were the top of their school. And so you're surrounded by all these very bright individuals. So it makes you feel a little bit like you're not that special. Like you're not that different from everybody else. And something I really had to process when I started was that is not true. Like I believe everyone is special and different in their own way. Everyone is smart, everyone is intelligent and capable, but I don't believe that I'm any less than anyone. And so the danger and the trap that comes with being in university where you have so much work and you have so much stuff to do is this whole thing, this whole dangerous mindset of I'm God. I can control I can control my life and I can do ABC. And the thing that you learn is that, sometimes working hard gets you the results you want. It's not always the case. It doesn't always work like that. Although I don't know. But so I believe there is some degree of that. And so then it becomes a thing of like, okay, time is precious. I need to manage my time. You need to manage your time really well. I need to be intentional with every hour, every minute. And so that's something that I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to juggle. I'm still learning how to balance. And I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I'm not an expert, but I just want to share a few things that I've been learning. So then the one thing that I've heard and the one phrase that's been in my mind, especially about adjusting to this new life, has been lock in, lock in, lock in. And the thing that I learned towards the end of my 12th grade was that the way I spent my time reflected in my grades. The way I spent my time, my last moments reflected on my grades. And that's been the case even now. And so the bad part about logging in is that it creates this whole mindset of being like God, this whole mindset of pushing yourself to the max, um, like really pushing yourself to the max physically, mentally, and maybe even spiritually. And that's something I really dealt with at the beginning and I still do deal with, if I'm being honest, to some extent, um, of where I would I would I would not get great sleep. For the first time in my life, I would not get great sleep. I would sleep like 5 hours. I know for some people that doesn't sound so ridiculous, but for me, I'd be like a zombie walking around. I would get like 5 hours of sleep, and all I do is eat, study, sleep. All I do is eat, study, sleep, repeat, and even on weekends. And that became unhealthy, and I realized that, okay, this isn't working. So something's got to change. This whole login thing, and maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm doing it with imbalance. And so the one thing I want to address is that yes, you've got to log in, but you have to log in with balance. You can't log in and push people aside, family, friends. You can't log in and push your mental health aside. You can't log in and push your spiritual health aside. And so that's been the emphasis lately. Like, what if we logged in and we actually had balance? What if? And so that's the thing, that's the question I really asked myself of it's doable. It's doable. And so that's something I've been learning. That's something I've been learning to implement. So another thing that I've been learning with coming to university is that I have to grow up. it's this whole thing of having to grow up enough seasons changing. At first, it was a lot. I'll be honest with you. It was a lot of stuff to do. Um, it was a lot of stuff we were learning that just flew over my head. I was just in class, picking up a few things, but like 30% of things, and then the rest is just flying over my head. And I'm like, okay, I'll catch up later. I'll catch up later. And that's one of the mindsets that's really dangerous. I'll catch up later. I've done this before. I'll catch up later. Of course, um, it kind of is realistic because that's kind of what I did. I don't know if you've ever done this of studying for the whole year in one night, or something like that. But I did that. I did that in the 12th grade, and it worked. It worked. Like, not terrible. Um, but the thing is, this can really put a lot of strain on one's mental health, and so that's something I've really been learning to push aside the catch up later lie. Okay, another thing that I've realized coming to university is a career lie. Because growing up, I thought that, you know, there was this whole thing of like, what are you gonna do when you grow up? What are you gonna be? And you don't have to know. You don't. Like, I have an idea of some of the things I want to do, some of the things I'm interested in, some of the things God has gifted me in, but you don't need to know. Like, you don't need to know. I know, for example, one of my sisters, God has put a dream in her heart to like, for medicine and to help people like that. Like, for me, it's not like that. I have some idea, but you don't have to know exactly what's going to happen in the next 10 years. No one knows because life doesn't work the way that we expect it to. And so that's something I've been learning. Another thing I've learned is to just make God the center. Because when life gets busy, one of the very first things that becomes easy for us to push aside and to put aside is God and our relationship with God. And that's very dangerous because when we push God aside, everything else starts falling apart. We start falling apart. Mental health starts falling apart. And when the thing we're trying to build crumbles, we have nothing to fall on, we crumble. And that happened to me once, twice, or maybe three times. And that's when I realized that, okay, I'm doing something wrong here. And so it's something I'm still learning. And it's all about going back to the basics, the putting God first in the morning, in the evenings, throughout the day, building the foundation of God first. And now I want to share some productivity things that I've been learning. Um, so, one of the productivity things I've learned is to-do lists. I love to-do lists. You don't have to complete everything on your to-do list, but make a to-do list. That's something I do. I make a daily to-do list, um, and do some of the things you find productive and you find that you can get done, and do that. You don't have to finish everything on your to-do list, but at least it helps keep you accountable in some way. Another thing is time blocking. And this is something I've used, especially when time was tight, and I'm like, I need to really get the most out of a certain hours of the day or a certain time because I have a test or I have this due and that and this and that. So that's something else. Another thing, the most important, one of the most important productivity things I've learned is sleep. Like, get good sleep. So now I have stopped doing the 5 hours thing because I realized it was unhealthy, it wasn't helping me at all. And the thing I've started doing is actually start sleeping at least at least 7 hours and push for as close to it as possible. Yes, that means that sometimes I'm late to lectures or I wake up late, but at least I got good sleep, and that has been really life changing. The other one is, and this is the most important, is time with God. I know, like, usually I've had this sensation and this feeling of like, oh, I'm late, I gotta get going. I can't spend time with God in the morning. I gotta get ready, get going. In the evening, I'm so tired. I need to go to sleep because I've got a lot to do in the morning. I got places to be in the morning. And time with God it can be easy to ignore that. But I think the thing that we need to remember is that if God is not the center and we're building on some other foundation, it is gonna fall. And when it falls, not if, when it falls, we're gonna fall. and that's very dangerous. So yeah, those are a few things, a few thoughts I wanted to share. Check out my other videos. Actually, on second thought, please don't. Just subscribe. I promise I will make more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.